Hi, I'm Cherie from PRIMPED.com.au and today I'm here with the wonderful Tom Tor, who is Sunsilk's damage control expert. We've also got 4 lucky winners here with us who are going to be treated to a hair makeover.
First thing we're going to do one of the damage reconstruction treatments on the hair. So, if you give me a little bit of details about your lifestyle, about how you sort of look after your hair on a daily basis.
I don't look after it well. Right. I don't get to do too much with it. Okay. If I do, when I'm going out or something like that, I'll use a straightener, so it gets a bit damaged from that.
Okay, at least you know you're damaging it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things. I mean, obviously, if you're going to use any sort of heat tools, if you don't blow dry it.
I do, yeah. I'll do the blow dry first, and then do the straightening.
Right. Because you find that what that tends to push a lot of the moisture out of the hair. So you get a combination. You get the combination of the heat damage on the surface of the hair. At the same time, it's pushing all the nutrition, all the moisture out as well. So quite simple. If you're not doing a lot to it with colour and things like that, you kind of eliminated that aspect of damage anyway. So it's just basically we'll get it so it smooths the cuticles out, gets it back into condition, gives it a good shine. Hello.
Hello.
So I'm looking at your hair. I put my fingers through it. I can feel a little bit of tension there.
Yep.
We've got some split ends in here. So when did you last get your hair cut then?
Over 6 months ago.
6 months?
Yep.
No. Okay, that's actually not uncommon in the salon. We get a lot of clients come in and it's been sort of 6 months. I think if you kind of wear your hair sort of quite long and straight, a lot of people don't do it so often because you kind of think because you're just wearing it in one style that you don't need to do it. So, but we always recommend getting a haircut. The reason why is not to just generate revenue from the salon. That's one aspect, of course. But the other reason is because you find once you start to get split ends on the ends of the hair, if you're trying to keep and maintain the length, what will happen is when that hair's split, as it starts to grow, it starts to kind of continuously split, and this will go up and up and up the hair shaft. So wherever you've got any damage, it's generally, this is the oldest part of your hair. This is probably about 4 to 5 years old. Yep. Yeah. So you find this is quite dry. And if you're not feeding it with the right kind of nutrition, putting everything back into it, it's going to sort of exacerbate and get worse and worse. So what we'll do the treatment on your hair as well, and we'll kind of really focus and really saturate the ends of the hair. All right. So I mean, we would do something that may be a little bit different than if you straighten it all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'll do something. I'll keep it going really nice and smooth. We'll get some nice body into it.
Now the girls have scooted off to get their hair washed and a treatment applied, so I thought I would take this opportunity to ask Tom Tor a few questions about his Sunsilk range. Now, how did you get involved with Sunsilk and the Co-Creations range?
It all started probably about 3.5 years ago. And I was approached by an anonymous company to come and work with them, which I declined. No, I'm joking. Yeah, and they sort of came in and said that we're working on this kind of project that we want to do, sort of some formulations of products, and someone had recognised that my salon specialises in working with people with damaged hair. So we do a lot of kind of catwalk models, do a lot of celebrities, a lot of people, just generally everyone has some sort of damage. And it's something that it's the same question we get from women all the time in the salon. It's like, how can I have better hair? And I thought, well, the best thing to do is get it into the best condition you can, and it's simple as that. So I was basically whisked off to work with the R&D department for Sunsilk, and we worked for a couple of years on the formulations, did the innovation and the concepts, fragrances, the packaging, So the whole thing from start to finish was really good. It's like a really amazing experience.
I love the smell of the shampoo and conditioner.
Thank you, Denise.
So you did well there.
Yeah.
And do you have a favourite product in the range?
Yeah, I think the whole sort of range itself, it's designed to work as a system. But then I think a lot of people, we realise that certain people are too time poor, I think is the word that I choose. And so I think if you're going to use one product that's going to give you like a much more of an impact onto the head, then I'd go with the Damage Heat Mist. This one. This one is the best, the Damage Defence.
Now, I'm a bit naughty and I only apply a heat spray like that before I straighten my hair with the actual straightener. Yeah. Should I be putting it on before I blow dry my hair as well? Ideally, yeah. I mean, this is the sort of whole thing. I think because straighteners are so extremely hot that people think that you should then only use it for that. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with using a hairdryer. It's just whether you overuse it, that's the worst thing you can do. Because once your hair's dry, it's dry, and then once you keep going with it, then you're going to kind of exacerbate the problem. You're going to dry it out even more. So I always think you want to create a barrier between the direct heat and your hair, whatever sort of heat you use, even whether it's a sunshine or it's a hairdryer or it's a straightener. So can you explain to me how the actual heat protection sprays protect our hair from becoming dry and damaged from heat appliances? Yeah. The simple thing, with the damage reconstruction range, what we've managed to do is actually kind of isolate the main keratin protein of the hair.
which the protein in your hair is going to give it the strength, and the moisture is going to give it the movement and subtlety. So by spraying it on, what we find is when your hair becomes damaged, you basically get holes and cracks all along the hair's texture. So when you're putting heat on, what's happening is that you're basically superheating anything that's on the hair. It dries the cuticle out much more, and it causes any natural moisture that's left in the hair to literally evaporate. So the idea behind the damage defense spray is that you spray it on the hair, it creates this kind of really, really thin, sort of, almost like sort of microscopic particles of protein. So it protects the hair, stops you getting direct contact between the irons and the hair shaft.
So we should definitely all be using one then.
I think it's good. It's really good because it's kind of, I think when we designed it, I kind of designed it for like the kind of sort of the lazy person in mind. You know, it's and I think it's most things. It's like even like when we're in London, like all everybody says to me is that I can't be bothered to spend all that time on my hair, and so I think we need to get a product that you don't need to spend all that time on your hair. Something you can't get any easier than spray.
So Tom, you're Sunsilk's damage control expert. Can you talk us through the main causes of hair damage?
Yeah, I mean the biggest cause of hair damage is the person whose hair it is. I think that's the fundamental key. Because I think you've got to understand what you're doing to your hair and how it's going to affect it. So you girls are the worst for damaging your hair. Thanks.
Naughty us. And is that because of all the heat styling we do, obviously? And
yeah, it's combinations. I think, one of the things, sort of speaking to clients in a salon, when we get out there, out and about, and you talk to people about their hair, I think a lot of it's really lack of understanding what you do to the hair and how it has the effect on the hair. So if you do heat styling, people think it's fine to do it, but when your hair starts to get quite dry, like if you use straightening irons every day, not pointing your fingers at anybody, but when you use it every day, what happens is you'll then get to a routine you have to use it every day because your hair becomes so dry that you kind of can't keep the same smoothness, you can't keep the same shine up. So you get into this kind of horrible catch-22 that once you start to really sort of like burn your hair with heat, then you have to keep kind of using it. So this combination of factors really is different.
Is there a safe way to towel dry your hair? Because I know I, once again, naughtily, am quite rough when I towel dry my hair in the morning.
Yeah, it's one of the things that if you looked at your hair under a microscope, you'll find that when you towel dry hair, each hair is basically like smashing against each other. And the cuticle scales of your hair, although they're kind of strong, fundamentally, they're kind of quite fragile. So what you'll find is that if you've got 100,000 hairs in your head smashing against each other, with a towel, you're rubbing it, you're kind of causing the hair to fracture and break. So I always think if you think of a cuticle like a roof tile, it's really strong when it's laying in its right way. If you turn it on its side and hit it with another one, it's going to smash. So it's basically works on that principle. So if you're going to dry it with a towel, the best thing to do is to pat it and squeeze it. So just literally squeeze your way down the hair shaft and keep doing it that way.
Now, Tom, even though you are the damage control expert for Sunsilk, do you have any other tips and tricks that you want to share with us today?
Yeah, I think one of the things looking at everybody's hair that we've been playing around with today, I just think with conditioner, if you're going to use conditioner, which is essential, especially with the sunshine you've got here, when you apply conditioner, don't apply it to the root of your head. Apply it mostly to the mid-lengths and the ends. If you want any more advice, quite happily come out here again. Thanks, Australia.
And we'd be happy to have you, Tom.
Thank you, Pri.
Thank you so much.